meeting of the Nora Park. This is the January meeting of the Nora Parking Authority, and we'll call the meeting to order. Initial item on the agenda is a roll call. So, Brian, if you'll
sure. Eric Rains.
Here.
Matt Seebeck.
Present.
Judd Ailey. Judd is here.
Present.
Peter Fulham.
Here.
And Jessica Larsh.
Here.
You have everyone here, Chairman.
Awesome. Thank you. So if we can have discussion on the December meeting minutes, if there's anything anybody would like to discuss. Hearing none, if they have a motion to accept.
I'd like to make a motion to accept.
Thank you, Peter. I have a second.
Seconded.
Thank you, Jess. All in favor? Aye.
I'll have to abstain, Chairman, as I wasn't present.
Okay. All right. So I heard Peter made the motion, Jess seconded. Did everyone else vote? I didn't see or hear.
Judd shaking his head. Peter, did you vote
Yes.
For it?
I raised my hand.
Sorry, you missed. Yep. All right, we're good.
All right, good, perfect. All right, so we're all in. Excellent, thank you. The next item on the agenda is the public participation. If there's anybody from the public, if you'll raise your hand on your Zoom or your device, then you'll be allowed in. We ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes, and keep in mind also that this is an opportunity for us to hear your input and hear your thoughts, and it's not so much a dialogue between the commissioners and the speaker. It's a time for us to collect the information. So are there any members of the public who would like to speak?
There are. Ms. Cece, you are muted.
Ms. Cece, can you hear? Can you hear us? We can't hear you in case.
Hello?
There you are. Hi. We can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I'm sorry about that.
It's okay.
Something weird going on with the microphone there. Good evening, everyone. Diane Cece, East Norwalk Neighborhood Association, and Happy New Year to folks I haven't seen yet. Not sure if there's a deadline on saying that, but whatever. I wanted to just speak to the item you have on the agenda for the residential parking passes with upcoming community listening sessions. And I just had a couple of questions. I doubt I'll be able to stay on to hear the answers when you get to it, but are these the proposed dates that you're discussing tonight for approval, and are they likely to stay the same dates? The February 17th meetings are the ones we'd be most interested in East Norwalk. That's actually going to end up being the same, or would end up being the same night as our monthly meeting due to the holiday. But I'm certainly going to get to the board and see then if we can either postpone or cancel, because I think this is going to be of great interest and people will want to probably attend that one. But I didn't want to get much further with that tomorrow if that may be likely to change. My other point, though, is even more important to find out whether or not you had any intention of having residents part of the planning team, in particular folks from either the East Norwalk neighborhood area or South Norwalk, the two most impacted. And again, I realize this is not a dialogue, and I'll probably have to jump off for another meeting. So you can either answer now or I'll check back in and watch the video later. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're not anticipating the dates changing. But if you would jump in and listen to the meeting to find out the answer to your second question. Anyone else from the public?
Nope, we have nobody else raising their hand.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. So down on the reports, the engineering reports, the first one. Brian, do you want to?
Sure, I can take this. I'm presenting differently from the agenda packet. It's a little bit better of flow of how we just upload documents here. But the update is for the conditional appraisals that we did. And as you know, as the board knows, we engaged Desmond to conduct comprehensive conditions assessments across all of 4 of our garages. Ken Sugarman has been leading that work for us since the initial assessment in 2023. And he returned last year to complete the updated evaluations. He has spent months on site documenting structural conditions, tracking how the garages are aging, and identifying where our early investments have already made measurable differences. These assessments form the backbone for our long-term capital strategy. They tell us what's urgent, what's emerging, and what we can plan for over the next 5 years. Ken's work gives us the professional roadmap we need to reinvest responsibly, and it's something that we'll be discussing further after the report out section of our agenda today. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Ken to kind of walk us through the findings and the priorities, and then give you guys a chance to ask some questions at the end.
Excuse me. Yeah, thank you, Brian. Thanks for that introduction. As Brian said, I'm Ken Sugarman with Desmond, the engineering firm that Norwalk uses to review and evaluate the parking garages. We try our best to help Norwalk put together comprehensive capital plans, as Brian said, which, and I do have to say, he just introduced me in a great way and basically really emphasized the value and the importance of these reports and what they can do for the owner, for Norwalk. That said, there's the 4 garages, Haviland, Yankee Doodle, Maritime, and Sono. And I'm glad we're starting with the Haviland parking garage because of the construction work that's currently ongoing right now. Obviously, well, not obviously, but this being the winter, it's basically on pause, although I am working with the contractor in the background to get things ready for the spring. But last year, we really started on a lot of substantial concrete repair. On the top side and the underside, a lot of painting. I mean, as you can see, there's the picture at the bottom there. The clearance bar is in progress of painting. All the floor drains and piping are also being replaced, as you can see that bottom right photograph. But the Haviland garage is a really good example of how good planning, based upon the reports, based upon the dollars that we recommend, and then be bid and implemented, what a great job can be done, turning a garage that requires repair work into a like new condition. I always say like new because nothing is as new as new, but bringing it back to a really good place for continued use into the future. But I do want to say, though, even though we are doing a substantial project right now, we do recommend that funds continue to be programmed going forward because maintenance is and will be required for the life of the structure.
Ken, do you mind if I ask a question?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I apologize. I meant to say, feel free to jump in with questions because this presentation can be as short and simple and quick, or as deep and in depth with a lot of good questions as you want it to be. So I am here to listen and to talk this through. Okay,
it's a simple question. So it's a 5-year projection. What year are we in?
Basically, we're in year 1. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. We're in year 0 basically, because this report assumes that the work we're doing right now in progress is completed. So depending upon the nature of the work, we do try to give a break in between projects and so forth, which is why you see a $0 year there. because a lot of the work that we will have completed will be under warranty and that sort of thing. So additional funds won't necessarily be needed to be programmed towards things. But then in year 2 and then so on, you see funding being necessary again for certain things.
Okay, thank you. So Brian, how do we know when to program for year 2? I mean, budget for year 2.
I think we should. I think what we've done in the past, when I first started with that 2023 assessment, I worked very closely with Ken to bring the identified repairs to the board to vote on. So it'll be kind of similar to what we're doing later today in the capital budget. And it might not need, I mean, $18,000. Depending on what happens in year 2, we could see the funds and how we want to use those going forward.
Okay, so are they in the budget we're reviewing tonight?
Not this one. That would be year 1, but later today that we're really focusing on addressing some of the priority issues on Maritime Garage and the Sono train station garage.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you. Thanks, Ken.
Going next to Yankee Doodle. Another fine example of what the reports and planning and so forth can do. This one I've been working with Brian. Hopefully soon we'll have a bid package going out for repairs inside the garage, concrete and waterproofing, as well as some remaining drainage and painting inside the garage. That's what these dollar amounts, because the job has not been bid out yet and awarded, these dollar amounts still reflect that work. So that's so next year, hopefully these dollars will be much less.
So this was, just so the board's aware, this is what the capital request was last year. That we have a bond secured. We just, once the bid package goes out, we can then activate that bond and finance this project that we're doing.
For year 1?
Correct.
Any other questions on Yankee Doodle?
It looks great.
Yeah, Ken, I got a quick question.
Yes.
All of the Yankee Doodle work is slab repair. Is that correct?
And
the waterproofing and the concrete and waterproofing repairs, is that all slab?
Our focus has been the floors inside the garage, meaning the concrete repair and waterproofing.
Yep.
Let me see here. We've got some remaining drainage to replace, and some painting inside the garage. So yes.
Nothing on the ribs on those.
Last year, I think it was last year, we helped cut the bottom of the ribs.
Yep.
As well as do some patching on them to get them ready for the painting.
Okay.
That's now in progress.
Okay. So you don't foresee any work being done on the ribs for the foreseeable future?
For the repairs that we did, should warranted for 5 years. So at least 5 years.
Okay, good. All right. Thank you.
But Judd, there is and Brian, there is a piece that goes across the top of all of them. I don't know what you call it, but like a finished piece. Brian, do you know?
That's part of like so Ken isn't part of the aesthetic project. That was designed by THA.
Oh, okay.
They had a cornice that was going on top of those concrete columns. We're working with them to get that bid package together, since we broke it up into phases. Because just a reminder, we put the aesthetic project out as one that included the painting, that included the metalwork and the lighting. We had bids that were just too, it required too much speciality with different subs, and it just made the cost go past $6 million. So we did the responsible thing by doing a phased approach to it. The first phase was the painting. The second phase will be the metalwork and the electric, just to try to get better pricing on that later. But these numbers do not put that in because they're aesthetic enhancements, not structural repair. So they'd be on a separate request if we wanted to go forward with those phases once we get the package together.
All right, that makes sense.
Did I miss the description or the difference, or what the programmed repairs mean? What's the definition of programmed repairs versus long-term repairs?
Just more years out. It's just a way of titling the columns.
Okay, so it's not specific to the type of repair needed.
Correct. Each year is a mixture of work.
Okay.
Although we do try to organize them in a way that makes sense.
Okay.
Brian, the lights, the decorative lights that used to be on the garage, when will those go back in?
So they were taken down to do the paint.
Right.
That side of the facade is not painted yet. It's on pause because of the weather.
Yep.
We weren't rushed to reinstall them because the next phase, that next lighting electrical phase includes that. But it depends on how fast we want to move through this as well. I think it could be part of a capital request for fiscal year 27-28. And then if we have to reinstall them and uninstall them, there's a cost to that as well. So it really depends how we want to manage that. And we're not there to present how much that would cost yet because we planned on doing this as one.
I'm not asking that, but I just want to make sure, given the amount of money we spent on those lights, which was not small, that they're not being lost somewhere.
No, we were Gilberto and Sons was very, very responsible with taking them down and storing them inside the garage. So they are in a safe and secured location.
Okay, good.
Okay, great. Thank you.
The next garage.
Sorry. There you go.
Maritime parking garage. This one, Ansono, Brian and I have been talking about moving into some sort of design scope. Maritime and Ansono can both basically be talked about together in a way because they are similar types of garages, both being precast garage. They have similar types of repairs. They are both in, good condition in the sense that the repair work that we see out there is typical of the precast T type of garage that they are. Both garages, though, are of decent size. So the issues do tend to add up, which is why you see the dollar amounts that they are. So we do recommend that the repair work be addressed accordingly. Yes, I see a question.
Yeah, just if I could jump back to Yankee Doodle for just 1 second. You were mentioning more painting. The painting was to be interior, I believe. I know that they spoke at one time about doing this, like the ceiling on the first level of the Yankee Doodle to kind of brighten it up and so forth. What kind of painting was going to be done specifically on the Yankee Doodle interior?
Interior. So if I'm sure you've noticed it already, but on the interior, we're doing the stairwells, the different identifying colors on the stairwells.
Yes.
There's also going to be super graphics on the floor levels. Inside the elevator alcove, that's going to be painted. The stairwell towers on the interior are going to be painted, and the first floor, pretty much the first floor and a half going up is going to be painted with that white ceiling.
Oh, that's great. Doing the ceiling will really brighten it up.
Yeah. And the lighting enhancement that's going there too is going to help as well.
Thanks.
So yeah, as I was saying, Maritime and Sono are very similar garages, both of decent size. The repair issues there are typical of those types of garages. So we do recommend that we stay on top of them. The Sono garage, though, does have a couple of unique issues specifically related to the stair towers. As you can see, there's a picture there at the bottom right. Historically, water has gone in through those doors, that being the roof level, exposed to the weather, and rusting the inside of the stairs as well as the doors and frames below. So part of the SONO plan being recommended is to install enclosures around those roof level doors. But otherwise, shear connector repairs, T-joint caulking, and epoxy overlay, as well as drainage repairs for both garages. So that said, I mean, those are the 4 garages in a nutshell. We can certainly talk about any issue in more depth. I do have the spreadsheets here. I can talk about any of the issues. If there's any questions and I can't answer them, I can certainly get back to you.
Just back on the Maritime garage. It seems that those boxes that hold, those blue boxes there over the doors that hold the gates they keep getting hit. And Brian, I think we've talked about access control.
We are, we're actually, it's funny, I got an update yesterday from Rocky and his team. The vendor is anticipating the parts coming in. I think it was next week, Rocky, is that right? Or the week after? And then they'll be shortly installing the new overhead gates there they're going to start at the train station and come here and do the Maritime.
Okay, so there are new gates coming.
Correct.
Okay, all right, perfect. All right, great, Ken, thank you. Unless anybody has more discussion or questions. All right,
Thank you, Ken.
Okay, we're good. All right, Ken, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Brian, you wanted me to stick around for a bit?
Yeah, I mean, it might be good to have you on here for this capital request in case there's some in-depth questions on the structure on the project that we're trying to get off, to take off with that I won't be able to. It might be of value to you. Rocky does his report out with Laz, and then we'll get back to it. So if you can just hang out, that'd be great.
Will do.
Rocky, I'll just I have everything here so I can share your presentation.
Sure. Thank you, Brian. Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year again. For the month of Brian, you can go to the next slide. Overall, for the month of December, we did good in revenue. It was a 2.4% over budget for the month, and that was offset by an increased expense that resulted in 3.6 over budget, resulting in a 10.1% less than budgeted fund balance for the month. On the revenue side, the increase in 2.4% was driven by increased transient activity, mainly coming from train station garage, Yankee Doodle garage, and also Webster Lot for the month. And monthly, the other driving force for the increased revenue for the month is also monthly revenue that was coming from the YMCA lot, which was there was a delay in payment for the prior month, so that payment came in December. So that's why we're over budget for the month. On the reverse side, we had seen a declined meter activity for the month. That came especially around the holiday area. We looked at the transient transaction activity, and that came mainly during the holiday. And we assume that is people choosing an extended period of time for parking, so they use the off-street facilities. And that activities in that area was declined for meter revenue. Violation revenue is also showing a declined activity, a decline of payment. That is a good sign that shows that compliance in meter payments. So in the past 4 or 5 months, we've seen a decline in violation revenue, and that's resulted in the year-to-date numbers. Right, if you go to the next tab for variance report. On the variance report, as stated earlier, that our expenses were more than anticipated for the month, and that's mainly due to the snow expense that came towards the end of the month, and that threw us over. But we were over budget by $20,000 for that month in snow expenses. Service contract is over budget for the month. That is due to payments for the month of January was paid in advance in December, so that is why that revenue, that expense line item is higher. But on year-to-date basis, we're still under budget. Security services, security expenses is under budget due to timing of payment. Again, this will offset when gets paid the following month. Equipment expense, that is for the purchase of 2 vehicles that was approved in the prior year budget presentation. Those have not arrived. They are expected to arrive mid-February, so expect the invoice and payment hitting either the month of February or March. That will offset the saving for the year-to-date also. Parking program, we're under budget for the months. That's due to the cancellation of the DKA contract that we had, and we signing up a new marketing vendor, Miranda. So their payment will start coming in for January. We missed it. We paid for the November invoice. December did not come in time, so we didn't hear it. So we'll see in January the payment for December and January together. That is the full package with the financial statement. Right, going to the next slide for 15 minutes update. 15 minutes update, usage update. As you can see, we're seeing a big 9% jump from the prior month usage. That's due to the Scan to Pay signage has been posted in all of our facilities, and people are taking advantage of that 15-minute usage throughout the streets. And as the numbers indicate here, there's a 9% increase, and it's happening throughout all facilities. The increase is seen on all different sections of the Norwalk area. That the rest of the package is supporting documents for what you have in the financial package. So if there is any question, I can answer.
Thank you, Rocky. So Sono is still off, right?
Yes, Sono is still off, mainly the Maritime Aquarium, which is our biggest revenue source. We're seeing a decline. We've reached out to the Maritime Aquarium to see if what the expectation is for the coming 6 months, and also the fiscal year 26-27, and they're not ready for the 26-27 projection, but they don't see any anticipated increase within the next 6 months, Chairman.
Increase in visitorship.
In visitors, correct? Yes.
So what we're saying is, if the garage is off, then the aquarium is off too, right?
That is correct. Yes, mainly our source of revenue is the Maritime Aquarium visitors, and we're seeing a decline over at Maritime Aquarium. So they're reflected in our numbers.
Okay.
Sirak, on the financial statement, the overall statement, our current fund balance is $513,669, right there.
Yes, for the year to date, we are at $513,668.
And we're roughly halfway through the fiscal year.
That is correct. That is correct. Yes.
That's a pretty healthy number.
It is based on, we were budgeting to have a, 391 by this time, and we're over by 122. And Commissioner, don't forget that there are some expenses that are coming in, like the vehicle expenses, that will offset some of the savings that we had in the expense side of it. But it's pretty safe to say that we will finish over budget by year end.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Sirak.
Let me, I don't want to scroll all the way back to the agenda, but let me do it. There we go.
Question about the free 15 minutes also. I see every month it seems to be picking up, being used more and more. You talk to the business owners periodically. did they bring it up with you? Did they mention that it's making a difference for them? Because ultimately, that's why we're here, to support the businesses.
Yes. Yes, based on our visits to the surrounding businesses, they are happy. They're educating their customers. Some of them even have it in a frame posted right in their store, so for people to use the 15 minutes usage for their parking session. So most of them are happy with that 15 minutes capability. Even a new store that we visited today was very excited knowing about the 15 minutes space. It's the juice place that opened up on Washington Street. So most businesses are happy with that 15 minutes.
The place is called Vitality, and I just want to add to that. I think the implementation of the ability of getting the 15 minutes on your phone is helping increase the usage and just the usage for the 15, but also the compliance for our, for the metered areas.
So the 15 minutes is available via not Park Mobile, but
correct. That's correct. Park Mobile is not. Park Mobile is not functioning as a free 15 minutes. They put their convenience fee on any transaction, including a free transaction. But the new scan to pay signs that we have throughout the city allow you to use your phone as another way of paying, but it also gives you the opportunity to do 15 minutes on your phone. And it also gives, once you run out of 15 minutes, they'll remind you on your phone to say, hey, if you need to extend your stay, go ahead and extend your stay. And that's when the convenience fee would go into effect. But if you keep, does that make sense?
Yeah. And is that the Laz app that then kicks in after the?
Correct. It's the updated pay by phone.
Okay. And that's got a lower convenience fee.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Great. Excellent.
It was a really good partnership we have with Laz to have that convenience fee lower. It's the lowest that, it's, what is it, 20-something cents, Rocky?
25 cents per trade.
25 cents.
And in addition, if you extend your session, there won't be no convenience fee for the extension transaction, the extended transaction.
Which Park Mobile does.
Okay. And Park Mobile's up to 35 cents now?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Correct. Yeah.
That's excellent.
That's excellent. Hip hip hooray for Laz.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Laz. Yeah.
Thanks.
Eric, I put the agenda back up. You want to try to navigate it easily enough?
Yeah, perfect. So the capital request, we need to discuss that. If you could jump to that.
Yeah, let me put this forward so we have it. Okay. I don't know if you're going to see it, but it's in your package. Earlier, we had Ken kind of discuss the assessments we did, and it really gives a clear professional roadmap for the next 5 years across all of our 4 garages. The 2026 assessment builds directly on the 23 baseline, which it's giving us a deeper understanding of how these structures are aging and where our early investments have already made measurable differences. We're not starting from scratch, which is great. We're building on proven progress. And I'm seeking to bond through the city of $1,225,000 for the next fiscal year as the next step in our phased investment strategy. This request will help us stay ahead of deterioration and address the most time-sensitive items identified while also keeping us on a disciplined path that we've established. The request also keeps us on a phased capital path that we've already established, which is great. The 23 and 26 assessments give us a clear sequence of those priorities, and this year's allocation keeps us on track. We are reinvesting in this infrastructure to ensure these garages remain safe, functional, and financially sustainable. And I'm asking the board to discuss this request and take the appropriate action so I can move forward.
So we'll use the report to figure out how to allocate the 1.2
correct
to the different items in the report.
Correct.
I guess for the year one for each asset.
Correct.
Okay. So it feels like 1.2 is kind of the number we've been using in the past for other requests. Is that accurate?
That is, it's a little less than previous years. That was kind of what the mix up was earlier, but yeah, last year we did 1.7.
So that's an indication that we're biting off enough it's an indication that we're biting off enough to make a difference.
Yes. For right now, absolutely. For both those garages. I mean, it would be great to ask for the 8 million right now, but it's not plausible. The city's not willing to bond that much with us right now.
Right. But we're not treading water at 1.2. We're gaining ground.
Correct.
Okay.
And Ken, if you have anything to add to that, that would be helpful too. Just to make sure the chairman's comfortable with, like, we're getting enough. We'll be able to approach this project in a responsible way to keep ahead of our progress here.
Right, and I'll just add to that, because I mean, obviously on the screen you see the $8.3 million number, and in a perfect scenario where we have the funds and so forth, we'd be talking about that. But we're talking about a couple of garages that are being used by the public, and you cannot close the garages to do all the repairs all at once anyways. So we take the reports that we prepare for you, and we work with you to come up with a phased approach that bites off a big enough chunk to make it worthwhile, but also keeps the garages utilized so that the public can use them, and you're not shutting down garages, you're not telling people to go elsewhere. You're giving people a place to park, but you're also getting work done. And yes, the 1.2 plus $1 million is a good number. However, next year, I hope we can talk about, adding more money to the next phase, to the next round, and keep the work going.
Yeah, because I mean, there, other things could happen that would cost money that may not be in the report. So there's no guarantee that we're working down the 8.3 million, because it's possible that things would be added to that over the 5-year plan.
Right? That is a downside of putting together a report with a 5-year forecast, but not funding all 5 years all at once. You're right. You're talking 8 million. You're only doing 1.2 million. That's still stuff not being addressed right now. So yes, theoretically, other stuff comes up, which is why we keep talking about this. I keep looking with Brian. We keep looking at the garages. We keep talking about stuff. If unexpected new stuff comes up, we talk about it, figure out what to do. If that maybe it was just part of year 2 and we just haven't gone to it yet. Maybe it's a new issue that we need to reprioritize things. But we keep talking about it and we figure out what to do about it.
So back to Jess's point earlier, the specific work to be done is yet to. It's known, but it's yet to be selected, right?
When we write the reports, we do try to prioritize the work in a certain order that makes sense. So in simple terms, the year 1, which was called the priority repair work, that's the priority work. That one we do call priority, for a reason, not to say it's emergency type work, but it's just issues that we see that is logical to address first, such as concrete work, which tends to be the most important thing. You want to take care of potholes, you want to take care of potential trip hazards, that sort of thing.
Okay, so then the process would be, if we approve the 1.2, then the scope of year 1 work would be given the specificity that I think Jess was alluding to.
Most likely, yes.
Okay.
There might be a few things that we just want to take care of for other reasons, just to get them out of the way. But yes, for the most part, the first column work.
So
Okay.
is the 1.2, I didn't do the math. Does the 1.2 cover the year one expenditures that you had laid out, that priority work? Does that cover all the garages? Is that why we're asking for that number?
To an extent, yes. I wanted, we bond through the city, so I could ask for, $100 million and they'll be more realistic for me. And they'll be like, listen, we can't give you that. We have to give you this amount of money. And that's what they're willing to finance for us right now is the
Okay.
1.2. So we want to use that and use the credit rating that the city has to be able to, use that to our advantage. I wish I had a better answer for you on the reasoning why.
Okay.
But that's the number that is comfortable with financing through the city, and I think it will be good to let Ken and I prioritize that the next projects for both those garages and make a decision on which we need to perform in the next build out. And we've also thrown around the idea of phasing this $8 million year over year, instead of trying to maybe do a big bid package that's a multi-year package that we can secure pricing on, and just as funds come in, we can reutilize those funds to that project to save some money.
But we ask for a certain amount every year to cover these 5 years of projects. And it would be,
I guess,
more or less based on what the recommendation is for
what the
those.
assessment is. Correct.
Okay.
But it's also the city has the ability to say, we're not giving you that much. We'll
Right.
give you this whatever X. So we can ask for it based on that formula, but what we're subject to is what they'll actually allow.
Absolutely. Totally understand. I was just wondering what the basis of the request, what the basis of that number was.
Yeah.
But yes, it is based upon that assessment and those priority years. What we can do with the 1.2, we're try to leverage that assessment to address the most vital items to get those knocked off the list.
Okay.
Is that fair to say, Ken?
Yes. I mean, what Brian, we'll figure out most likely the prioritized work, because that is priority. But like I said, there may be other work that we want to get in there for whatever reason. And like Brian said, we've been talking about the idea of scoping out all the work, bidding it out, getting numbers, and then each year as funds become available, we can put it towards the project, assuming it gets approved and so forth, contingent upon it being approved. And that way we get more cost-effective work and a contractor locked in, pricing gets locked in, and so forth. But that's for something that Brian and I will be working on.
Okay.
Matt's got a question.
Thanks, Judd. Mr. Chairman, I think we need to make a motion here, and I'd like to make a motion to authorize the city staff to seek a bond from through the city in the amount of $1,225,000 for priority garage repairs in the 26-27 fiscal year.
Thank you, Matt. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Well, we need a second.
Yeah, if there's no discussion, can we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Judd.
Now,
Well, now we discuss the
now,
motion.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
So, sorry, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman.
No, please go ahead.
So, we have bonded quite a bit over the past few years, and we have prioritized garage repair. Like, I think the largest garage repair that we've undertaken is the Yankee Doodle garage work that we're doing now. But previous to that, we had done pretty significant both structural and then cosmetic repairs to Haviland. And we've been maintaining work at Maritime as well, through bonds. And we've been pretty successful in that. And frankly, we've been doing a great job, thanks to everyone's efforts in managing debt service over the years in order to maintain these facilities. 5 years is a pretty decent capital cycle in my estimation, in my experience. And yeah, in all likelihood, at the end of the 5 years, we're still going to have things repairs. Like, these are all living, breathing buildings, but we've done quite a bit of I wouldn't call it maintenance, but we've done a lot of structural upkeep to maintain the initial investment that the authority has made on behalf of the city. And I think we've done a really good job as an authority in keeping these places, up to what folks' expectations are. 1.225 doesn't get us all of the year one work. I think last year's bond ask didn't get us all of the year one work either, but it is all being factored in, and Ken's reports have been instrumental in us making sure that we're focusing on the things that are not just cosmetic or customer facing, but really the structural things that keep our facilities up and we've avoiding like long-term problems. We've done a pretty good job, is an understatement, of making sure that stays a problem that we don't even need to consider. That's what I have to say.
Excellent. Thank you, Matt. Well said. If there's no further discussion, we can have a motion to approve. Or we have a motion already. We can vote to approve. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. So great. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll get to work. Ken, we got work to do. More work to do.
All right, I'll give you a call, Brian.
I appreciate the time you gave us. Thank you.
All right, you're
Thanks,
welcome.
Ken. Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Brian, you won't chat with me now then, right?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, Ken.
You are released. Before we dive into the ops budget, I just want to note that this budget reflects a lot of thoughtful work between TMP and LAS Parking. It's a disciplined plan that balances operational needs and long-term infrastructure priorities. So without further ado, Rocky, I have your stuff over for you.
Thank you, Brian. On a high level, on our 2027 budget has a 1.63% increase in revenue and 1.3% increase in total expenses, resulting in a 4.86% increase in fund balance overall. This is this budget as of now has when preparing this budget, we used 6-month actual activity for 25, and then the rest projected numbers. So there might be some changes as we go along before this budget gets approved as more actual activities come into play. Going into the details, I'll try to cover the high variance line items. Thanks, Brian. On a monthly revenue, there's a slight increase budget and driven due to high demand and utilization at the South Norwalk train station garage and then East Norwalk train station. It's a modest increase budgeted for the month for 2027. Our transient revenue has a 2.96% increase driven by stronger trend in the Wall Street area, railroad facilities. We've also taken into consideration a declined activity at a Maritime garage and then at Haviland Deck due to the construction that is going to be happening in the coming year. On meter revenue is budgeted at a 4.56% increase. The projected increase is coming mainly from the current trend that we're seeing, especially in the Wall Street and West Avenue area. And this is coupled with the added on-street spaces that are in West Avenue area. We added a total of about 40 spaces, and they're generating good amount of transient meter activity in that area. So we factored that in to have that 4.6 increase in meter revenue. Violation revenue is budgeted at 0.72 decrease based on ticket issuance data, and we're also anticipating improved signage that will result in increased compliance, so that we anticipate it will be a decreased violation revenue for 2027. That is the overall for revenue side. If there's any question, I'll take the question on the revenue side.
Can I just add to that? Just want to add about the wayfinding project that I'm working on. I sent the wayfinding bid out. It opened this week, so we got two firms that bid. We're reviewing them now, and this just kind of helps. Just having proper wayfinding signage throughout the city for at least the parking assets is going to help us with the violation part as well. More signs, more compliance, is clearer ways to getting around South Norwalk. Because, I talked to a lady at the hearing today who mistakenly parked at the Haviland permit area because there's really not great signage there. So if once that wayfinding bid package and design gets through, we'll have a better sense, and those violation numbers should continually improve and improve drastically from that as well. We're not there with implementation yet, but that is part of what we're working on right now. Sorry, Rocky.
No problem. Thank you. If there are no questions, I'll go on the expense side.
Sorry, one quick question, Saurabh. What's going on with ATM machines? Just out of curiosity.
ATM machines, we're seeing a decline usage, Vice Chair, at the train station garage. In the past, we used to have 2 ATM machines, one located upstairs, both side on the east New Haven and New York bound side. So one unit has been removed. So maybe that is the variance that we're seeing, but we're also seeing less usage of the ATM machines.
And that's lease revenue, right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, so I'm assuming because we went up this year, but we're kind of off on that revenue line item, that just for whatever reason we didn't get another lease there.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. That's it. Thanks. Sorry.
Thank you, Vice Chair. On the expense side, I'll start with a payroll and benefit. That is a 2.49 increase from prior year budget, and that's due to just performance evaluation for employees, and also with the minimum wage going up to almost $17 this year, and so we try to stay above that threshold to keep up good employees. So that 2.5 increase for payroll and benefits. Security services, we're asking an increase for, and it is a 36.6% increase for the security cameras, and this is due to the aging camera system that we have with all our facilities for responsible expense saving. We've been deferring some expenses for the security cameras, and these cameras are aging, and they need. We've had a discussion with our vendor. Some needs to, the system needs to be upgraded, and some cameras need to be replaced. And in this security system that we have, mainly at the train station, Maritime Garage, gets highly used by the Norwalk Police Department for their various investigations. So it is, we play a vital role in keeping those cameras. So we're asking a 36.6% increase on security services under that line item. Equipment expense. There's a decline from prior year request, 59% request. We're asking for a replacement of one maintenance truck, which has a higher mileage. It was purchased in 2010. We did a condition assessment for this vehicle at the beginning of our current fiscal year. The mechanic that we take these vehicles to recommended not to spend any money on this vehicle. It is used for snow plowing and heavy lifting of some heavy material, so they recommend not replacing. And if this vehicle has a major issue like its transmission being out, so we're asking for that vehicle to be replaced, and we're asking a $65,000 request for one vehicle replacement. Building and repair and maintenance, that has a 7.5 increase from prior year. This is mainly for the replacement of the HVAC unit, which is located at the New York bound side. Has gone out this summer. We reached out to the vendor. It costs about $80,000, so we're asking for that unit to be replaced, and then also the one at Maritime Garage. They're both over 20 years old, and they just need a replaced. On the operating expense line item, there's a 16.7% increase, and this is to cover some of the consulting fees that we incur needed for the construction admin and oversight of the facility expenses, like Ken's expenses. Ticket is another line item that we are budgeting higher than a prior from prior budget, and this is purely based on supply on hand, and we need a ticket purchase for the handhelds and the equipment that we have at the two different garages. Service contract is a 3.9 decrease based on current agreements and trend. That's a saving for us. Credit card fees, we're budgeting a minor increase in here, seeing that most transactions are happening in using Park Mobile, Scan to Pay, and then credit cards, and cash usage is declining. Well, and when we budgeted for this line item, we took careful numbers, and based on where we're trending revenue-wise and what we're charging and what we're getting charged on credit card fees, we feel comfortable with that 1.86% increase for credit card fees. Permit violation has we're asking a 20% increase under that line item. That is due to the existing permit system that's been installed for years now, and it's becoming obsolete. And we've been in contact with the vendor. They recommended upgrading the existing system. This will also tie us into the RPP program. So the new upgraded system will have more customer-facing features and will be easily integrated with the RPP program that we're working on.
Let me just add to that as well. It also has functionality for our current permit holders as well, which are the legacy software that we're using doesn't have that capability. So a resident could go in and actually manage a lot more of their account, which is a great thing, because as we move forward, that's what we hear our customers want. They want to be able to manage certain tasks on their own with certain limitations that we can place on that software.
Yep. And also the commercial piece of that permit system will allow the commercial entities to manage a pool system where if they have 50 employees that are coming in morning and evening, they'll be able to manage that from their office rather than asking here for updating plate numbers and all that. So it will be much useful for the commercial portion as well. And the parking program has a 50% decrease, and that is due to this is for engagement and of the surrounding businesses that used to be handled by DKA. With the new vendor that we have, we're showing a decreased usage, a decreased contracted amount, and that is why we're seeing a $50,000 decline. And on the city administered expense, there is personal benefits increase, and that's shown at the bottom, 10.64%. And the debt service, we get the schedule from the controller's office. The debt service payment has also gone down slightly, and that would give us Brian, I don't see the bottom number on the screen. That'll give us at the end of the fiscal year a fund balance of $649,000 for their operation. Any questions?
Matt has one.
Yeah, it's a minor thing, but
Sorry,
I think
Matt.
snow removal is a little low. And I would round it up 7,000 personally, if it were up to me. And if it doesn't get used, great, but that's one thing that's stood out for me.
Rocky, can you dig a little bit into how you got that number?
These right, this is purely historical data that we used, and we put in, we used to come way under budget, the past 3-4 months, because the anticipated snow amount was not enough, and that we kept at that 175,000. But it's, if you would like to add additional 7 and make it 190, just to be on the safe side, as Jed mentioned, if we don't use it, we come, it will be going down to our fund balance.
Thanks, Rocky. I just wanted to make sure the commissioners knew how you got that number.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure it's based on historical, but yeah, that's the only thing. And maybe it's not really related to this, but who handles the leasing of the restaurant at the Maritime Garage that the restaurant there used to be?
Oh, Mamma Mia.
That is handled by the condo association, and the commercial part of that handles the leasing of that the restaurant area.
The condo association does.
Correct. Yes.
So are we're not very involved with that then? Is that what
we are? We are part of the board, but we don't have
final say or anything
on the commercial aspect of it.
Correct.
It's just a shame that, something opens up there and 6 months later it's out of business. The place sits empty. I mean,
yes.
And the great location.
Great location.
I mean, does anybody know what their square foot prices are? Matt, any idea?
I don't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I could look. I could ask around for you, Judd.
Yeah, I'd just be curious.
If I could ask a couple questions.
Sure.
So the operating expense line item has increased 50% over the last 2 years. I'm just trying to understand what those consulting for construction administration is. Just if we have a capital project, those consulting fees should be depreciated along with the cost of the ultimate improvement that we're undertaking. So I'm just trying to understand what constitutes that sincere increase.
Yeah, I think we haven't really baked those fees into that capital number, that project number historically, but we could certainly shift from operations to that capital if the board feels like that's a good move on management side.
I just feel like a $64,000 increase over 2 years is pretty significant. And if we're undertaking projects and we need to have upgrades to facilities, and we're doing that, it should be, all of that should be in the cost that we depreciate.
Yep. Yeah, and I think it's gone up because our construction activity has ramped up for the last couple of years, which makes sense. But I hear you on this. So we could shift that to the capital budget going forward.
I mean, just given the fact that we might as well, if we have the ability. I appreciate that feedback. As it relates to utilities, I know we've gone back and forth over utilities several years, but this year in particular, we're at $20,000 year to date, 6 months in. So I'm just sort of curious, is there a glut of invoices that we have yet to pay that gets us to the $40,000 at the 6-month mark? Or is there a major increase in utilities that we're expecting?
Vice Chair, looking at the financials, usually the utility expenses during the winter time, that's when the high invoices come through. So on year to date, if you look at it, we were always coming under budget. So I expect the December, January, and February invoices being higher, because that's when we use a lot of heating for the train station, Maritime, and Yankee Doodle Garage. So that is, historically, the higher invoices are coming during the winter season.
So then my response is that we really need to make sure that we're not straightlining that budget and that we're budgeting based on seasonality so that we don't have a year to date like big, we don't have we're not carrying a credit or a in underreporting of expenditure. I think, Sirach, I know you've done a lot to clean this up over some years, but I would really appreciate that we not run into this year in and year out, because it just doesn't make sense when we come to this point that we see an underreporting and then we get hit with a bunch of invoices later. It just makes our year-to-date reporting look incorrect.
Absolutely, Vice Chair. We'll make sure that the month-to-month budgeted numbers reflect that fluctuation.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yep. And can we talk about tickets?
Sure.
Are we? I feel like as we upgrade equipment, we're kind of moving away from pull tickets, right? And so, and we've done a great job this year of not spending a lot on tickets just because we had a series on hand previously as we're rotating equipment out, right? Like, I feel like $17,000 doesn't sound like a lot, but every other year when we're spending $17,000, $20,000 on tickets, and we're also making the capital outlay to improve the equipment, is this effective from like a step back from the fiscal investment that we're intending to make in fiscal 27? But is this really something that we're going to need over time?
Vice Chair, based on when we prepare this budget, yes, we spent right before we purchased the new equipment. We purchased some tickets, not knowing when the new equipments were going to be purchased. So we had that expense that we overpaid, and shame on us because we didn't know the exact time of the equipment installation. So that's why you're seeing that ticket expense for. But prior year, the 25 year fiscal year is the ticket and the handheld tickets that we purchased for enforcement. Those are thermal papers. They're expensive. So we actually stretched it not to spend anything this year in 2025. So that is why we haven't spent it. But this coming fiscal year, we expect that handheld ticket to be purchased based on
so to clarify my understanding, this is tickets for the purposes of enforcement versus tickets from transient parking in the garages.
That is partially true. The 12,000 of it is for handheld tickets for the thermal papers, and we put in 5,000 just in case for any equipment tickets that we need. We do have the supply right now, but if usage increases, we might run out, especially at the train station. So we put in a $5,000 for purchase of additional tickets for the train station for the garage equipment.
Matt, are you? Well, before I ask my question, Sirach, on future agenda packets on the financial report, could you put like a line item number next to it? So when Matt's talking about, say, tickets, he could say line number XYZ or whatever. If you have accounting codes, I'm assuming you prepare this whole thing in Excel, but if you could just put it there, because I'm looking at tickets, Matt.
It'll help him follow along.
A line item right under signage. Is that?
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm referring to, Judd. I'm sorry. I went
okay. Yeah, but it took me. If you could say line number XYZ, I could go right to it. It would be easier for everyone. So,
yep, fair enough.
And
Absolutely.
so, Matt, getting to the subject here, your concern is about the amount of money we're spending on these tickets.
It's not so much. So my original assumption of what tickets was pull tickets for the machines in the garage.
Okay.
That's my assumption of it. And as we upgrade those machines over time, right, and we're improving the technology that's available, presumably the amount of people using pull tickets would reduce over time just by natural technology adaptation.
Right.
And so if we're spending that kind of money on that, like, hey, look, hey, eventually we won't spend anything on that, right? Like people will adapt. But if it's for the purposes of having like the actual like receipt paper that our violations come out on, it's kind of a different subject.
And I think just to add to, I want to add what Matt's saying, because as the parking industry moves forward with their new technology, there are avenues where with our new Park Connect system at Maritime and the train station, there's a better ability to reserve before you come. So if you make a reservation online, you put in all your account information, including your license plate. And as you pull into the entry lane, the system will read that you are a reservation. You made it at 7 o'clock. It's 7:03. You go in, gate opens, you park. You don't need to pull a ticket. So we should see that. We should see the decline in use of tickets. And on another side of that, there's also the ability to add functionality to our system that will allow Park Mobile reservations at our garages. We haven't activated it yet because I haven't heard operationally how easy it is for customers. I don't want to just throw it out there without having a clear path on how it works. Because the way it's kind of, and I'm probably going to butcher it, but you can reserve on Park Mobile, drive in, it'll know that you're close to the garage. You just hit activate, it raises the gate because it recognizes your plate. And then you pull in. So that's another avenue that we could start leveraging with our new system. So long story short, we will be able to see a decline in tickets, because I personally think that we have a really good opportunity to enhance our reservations enhance our website. That'll lead people to our website to get content, but also make those reservations easily and more effective on it.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And just so I understand this line item, these costs are for poll tickets or for the constables and their handheld devices?
So $12,000 is towards the thermal paper the enforcement guys use, and the $5,000 is just placeholder for a garage ticket spitter.
Okay.
Sorry, one more question. This one's actually for Brian. Brian, obviously we just authorized the bond, so I don't assume that it's factored into the debt service in this budget, as we wouldn't be incurring the expense until this fiscal year. Do you have any sense of what this would do to future debt service at all? And it's okay if you don't have the answer.
I don't have the answer, but I can get that answer.
I'm just thinking, as we have a fund balance at the end of this year, it would be nice to think that like we should go into the following fiscal year in a stronger position to pay off that debt service.
Correct. And I also think that the Maritime Garage debt service is ending soon as well. So that's going to open up more opportunity here. But I can get that answer for you.
Matt's point about the consultant services, is that going to be moved out of this and over to capital?
It's a good question. I don't know. I'm not sure how easy it is to do that, because we use that CapEx funds are separate. But maybe let me get back to you. Let me poke Jim's brain tomorrow on this and see how we can utilize those admin and construction fees to that.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Sirak, did we talk about anything that would need to be noted if we're going to approve this?
Yes, if the we'll make the adjustment for the snow as Jed recommended, and then if the operating expense can be reduced, then we will reduce that line item and we'll present it for final approval.
Well, I think if everybody's comfortable, we can approve it based on those, let's call them conditions. And
Yeah, that's a good idea, Eric, I think, so we can move this forward.
yeah, and then if something goes awry, then we'll have to open it back up again. But if everybody's comfortable just with those conditions, then if we're finished with discussion, we could have a motion to approve.
No takers?
I'm happy to make a motion, but I don't know if I am the right one to do it.
I'll make a motion to approve the fiscal year 2027 budget of $7,434,558.
Excellent. With those two conditions, or with those
two conditions discussed.
Excellent. Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Matt. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Excellent. Thank you. Unanimous. Great. Thank you, Rocky. It's a lot of work going into that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you guys for all the work, Brian and Sirak.
Thanks.
Thank you. We're happy to do it.
So one of the items that Sirak mentioned, Brian, you want me to take this?
Sure, please.
So one of the items that Sirak mentioned was a reduction in the budget based on funds that we had been using for the firm MKDA.
DKA.
What's that?
DKA. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, there's another firm, MKDA. Sorry. For the firm, and what we did this past season, Christmas holiday season, was utilize some of those funds to pilot some decorations at some of the parking facilities, and simple things that I think, Brian, you went to Home Depot and got a tree, and and very simple things. And it turns out the reception we got for that minor effort was enormous, and so my thought is that, given that that it was a relatively small effort, and Brian, you could tell us the expenses of it, but that we do something like this moving forward. Again, utilizing the money that we were already allocating for that firm that we no longer have the expense with. And so I think, Brian, you did a quick review and found, I think it's less than 80 lamp posts that could get a holiday decoration like this that's made for that application, that's much simpler to install and can be taken down and stored in between years that the parking authority would own. And so what I'd like if we could discuss would be the possibility of doing something like this at our facilities, going forward. And again, we're not it's money that we had already planned to spend to some degree on efforts. I guess you could call them similar because they were for outreach and marketing, basically. But I want to see what everybody thought about that.
So can I just add to this? So,
yeah,
it's always funny because I think of my wife after every holiday, like, go get candy after Halloween, go get Christmas ornaments after Christmas for the next year for whatever the children break during the season. So, we started to look at decorations that a lot of municipalities use, and it kind of brought us to this snowflake that gets installed on pedestrian lamps. it's a quick and easy and heavily discounted solution that we could do. And it was really received. The decorations we did last year were very well received. And it's just, something that I think the Park Norwalk really wants to keep momentum on is our outreach to the city and showing, hey, we do care about this city. We do reinvest in our city, not just, we want to have a nice little looking town where people are happy to come visit for the holidays, go to restaurants, and having these snowflakes lined on Washington and North Main and up West Avenue and at some of our locations. It's a very easy, great visibility for Park Norwalk, and I think the community, I think, would really adore it. And so I got a proposal from Holiday Designs, and these snowflakes were regularly priced at $500 each. They're 3 foot long, and I counted around 82 pedestrian lights that we can mount these on, and that's where I got that number of 35,542. So unfortunately, that discount does not last. It actually ends. Sure, I can't speak for this company, but they did said ends on the last day of January. It's a 30% discount from what they're offering.
So you're saying we would, if we approve this, we would buy them now and hold them
Correct.
For next year.
Correct. We would store them at our at either Yankee Doodle or Maritime. And we can install them prior to Thanksgiving. Sorry, Jessica. Prior to Thanksgiving, and take them out after January 6th, I think, when we did it this year.
And this is a one-time expense, right?
Correct.
Brian, do you only have this one price?
Yeah, it's a unique purchase. This is the one that we looked at that had the most heavily discounted decor that does similar size cities that do this.
And how much last year you spent some money on decorations? How much did you spend on that?
I think was it around 2,000, Rocky? 2 or 3?
Yes, it was 2,800.
2,800. Thank you.
2,800, and that covered
We got-
Blue Cactus Grill. I don't know what Hospital Hill, right?
Hospital Hill,
Is that what you call
correct.
that?
Yeah, we
Anywhere
did
else?
garland. We did garland. Let me go back to that picture. We did garland and lights around the poles, and we did wreaths around the poles, as you can see in this picture as well. It was somewhat time consuming to do that, and that's why we looked at this snowflake, saying it's not, you mount it, plug it in, and move on. So it's fast and easy. That won't bog down our staff into doing this. The tree at both, I don't have a picture of it, but we did one at Maritime with the sea creatures here, which when we were installing it, all the kids it's like, oh, don't touch the ornaments, but they're shatterproof ornaments. They loved it. They love the octopus and little turtle here, but we did a tree that was next to the elevator bank, and we also did a tree and some snowmen at the train station. And our tenant Tiara over Black by Demand, she was very pleasantly surprised when she showed up to her business and saw that.
Brian, have you seen those ones you're proposing to buy? Have you seen them up anywhere, or how big are they?
They're 3 feet. They're 3 feet wide or long. I've only seen pictures. Jim has seen them at I think New Haven has them. I think as the closest location. He's seen that.
And you're saying this money exists in the budget already?
Yes, sir.
And where is this coming from?
It's under parking programs.
And how much money is in that parking programs right
We
now?
budgeted $100,000 for the past so many years. We had DKA. Now that we don't have that firm, that contractual change, we have a very large savings from there. And it's a really good parketing effort. On top of Dine Norwalk that we're doing. And I was throwing around the idea of doing the parketing info today, but we were so busy with the current agenda. I do plan on Miranda Creative, the reps showing up to our meeting next month to discuss Dine Norwalk and some of their strategies on our PR campaign as well.
So in the current fiscal year parking programs, I'm sorry, I'm looking for that.
Rocky, you want to kind of tell them how much we have in that availability now?
Sure. Without income counting the December invoice that we got so far, we have, as of end of December, $34,700 in saving. Assuming the 6 month continue this way, we will have way over $50,000 in savings, 50 to 67.
At the end of the year.
Correct.
And that's where this 35 comes from.
Yes, sir. And that's why it was so. That's why we reduced it in the operations budget, because we don't have use of that $100,000.
Any idea on longevity of these things, or?
Actually, it's a good question. I don't know. I can find out. I can definitely find out. I have no reason to believe that they're, 1 year and done. I'm sure it's probably a couple
I'm sure
years.
they're not. But
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Something I've brought up many times. I'd really like to see street trees on Main Avenue off the Wall Street district. I believe it was last month I brought it up, and Xerox coworker said that Laz could help with a program like that. Eric, you probably have a better idea of the cost of street trees. I'm gonna guess maybe a single tree, 3,000-4,000 installed, depending on the tree and the size. But
yeah, and then this and also depending on what would have to be done to make way for the tree.
Up in that area, there's a lot of, it's all concrete sidewalks, so there's really no space. There's really no space just to plant those trees
or anything.
We were throwing around getting ideas of doing planters somewhere, but we also have to keep the right of way on that sidewalk as well. So we're still looking at that and seeing how we can make that happen.
It's bleak up there. There are no street trees, and I'd rather see the money go toward that. So that's my feeling. I think this is nice, but I don't know how everybody else feels about this.
I like trees myself. I have to admit, I just like trees. I like Christmas lights too. But I agree with Judd on liking trees.
I'm just not, feasibility, I'm not sure how feasible it is for us to install trees. We could look at it for certain, but I don't want to make any promises that we can't, as an authority, put forward if there's issues with how we want to do it, and maybe there's existing rules on how sidewalks are managed by DPW. I don't know, or even with PMP.
There are pretty strict guidelines. But there's a tree conservancy in town that looks for places to plant trees, and they would certainly be the organization with something like that being more in their lane than ours. So I think the locations that they would need to be planted, lots of questions come to mind. Like, is it concrete today that has to be cut? Are there wires underground? Are there, it's a project for sure.
Sure, but it's something that we could help fund if it's viable. I mean, it's done all over the place. It's been done in this city before.
Yeah, no, I think street trees are awesome. But I also, the way the city looks with holiday decorations is just special to me. And I place it pretty high priority.
Yeah, I would say this is a nice thing to do, and it does make it feel in other towns a lot more homey, a place that you want to visit, and that's what we want here, right? People to come visit, especially during the holidays.
Yeah.
Or anytime.
Or anytime.
Or anytime, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's and for me, that's what the trees do. So,
Yeah.
Matt, you have any thoughts?
I don't disagree with either point. I think that the these particular decorations are at our 5-yard line, or they're right in front of our ability to execute without having to get additional consultation. I'm certainly interested in working with some of the other commissions, especially considering I believe there's an effort to plant 250 trees to honor the 250th of the U.S. this year. I'm sure that's something that we can look at. You know, I think if we can take action on this, I would be in support of this right now and seeking to work cross commission on that in the future.
And can I add that it's a $14,000 savings, which I failed to inform you guys of this. We will have some funds still to use, so we could, if we give us some time to see what we could maybe help fund. That might be another solution too, Judd, to make both things happen.
Well, how about this? If we'll take a vote on this, and I believe Paul Sotnick is the city staff person for the tree commission. I'm sure you must know Paul.
He might. I know Paul. I'm not sure. I know we have a tree warden that we can.
Could we get him to next month's meeting so we can really get started on this instead of me bringing it up every other month or every 3 months? Particularly because Luis said Laz, it's, you know, the possibility of Laz helping with the finances of it. I think Siroc, maybe you know, Laz partnered with the city of Hartford to plant some street trees.
Yes, they do. They do plant trees every year, especially I think Earth Day. So maybe that is a portion of that that funding that Laz sponsor can go into this. But Louis did agree that he will partner on this project.
You remember that,
Judd? Would you just circle on like a Google Earth image the area you're thinking of? The chairman of the tree group that I'm thinking of is a gentleman, Jeff Shear, that I could reach out to if you'll mark up a Google Earth image to start a conversation with that group. And because it's a volunteer group, and they look for places to plant trees.
Okay. I mean, it's basically, Main Avenue from Wall up to Cross.
Okay. Yeah.
Right in there.
Judd,
go ahead.
You know what I could do too is I could set between now and next month, I can get Sarah, who's the tree warden. Maybe you and I and her, we can meet here at City Hall, so she kind of go over what they're planning on doing and just kind of your vision, because I think she would absolutely love that.
Okay.
And we might get a little bit better direction on the role that, maybe there's a future plan for that's happening already, that they'll be aware of.
Yeah, Jim, when I brought it up, Jim says, well, no, because we're going to redo all that stuff. But that's 10 years out. I mean, the Wall Street kickoff was 4.5 years ago. This stuff, it just takes time. It's nobody's fault. It's just how it is. And
maybe the planters are a good in between if it was something quick to put up there to get some green. out there as well.
If that, yeah, that could be. So,
Yep.
Okay. So Eric, you want me to just email you that, or are you clear with the area?
No, I got it. Yeah, I got it. As long as Sirach and Brian are clear, if they're going to be having conversations with people, as long as they're clear.
Yep. Okay.
Let me just, you guys see my, you're saying Wall Street on Main, right?
Yeah.
Main, between Wall Street and what was it?
And Cross or North Avenue, they kind of come together there. It's
Yep. Oh yeah, I know the area. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, it's Route 1.
Yep. Good Chinese place over there.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah. Coming from the Bronx, that's really good Chinese food.
Well, I'll have to ask Maria, who's Chinese and from the Bronx. So
I'll defer to her. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like there's some comfort level with this. If I could have a motion.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to accept the holiday designed Christmas ornaments that Brian proposed, but I don't think you can have enough. I mean, the parking authority gets a connotation of bad things, tickets and so forth. So to go to Christmas lights and to go to trees, it's a great
Yes.
twist on it.
That's nice. Excellent. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Matt. Any discussion? Excellent. So hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
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 Thank you.
All opposed? I didn't hear it. So everybody voted. Okay. All right. Excellent. Thank you, Brian. So that's we're good to go.
Good. Great. I'll get that in. I'll talk to the rep tomorrow.
Awesome.
So the next item is an update on the residential parking. We've been tasked. Park Norwalk has been tasked with developing a new residential parking program for the city, and community input is the first and most important step in the process. While we initially anticipated bringing in an outside consultant, the board really encouraged us to challenge our LAS parking partners to take on this work directly. LAS welcomed that direction, and they are now leading both the community listening effort and the development of the program's guidelines and framework. These sessions are designed to gather real-world insight before any recommendations are drafted. So we had a resident earlier make some comments about what she thinks might be a good idea to add a resident to the development team, and I jotted that note. And those are that's the type of feedback we want to hear before we get into the meat and potatoes of this. We also want to understand the residents' perspective, what they need for the future program. Participants will also have the chance to learn how residential parking programs operate in other cities and discuss which approaches might make sense for Norwalk. This feedback that we're going to receive will directly shape how the RPP is developed in the months ahead. This is a ground-up process, and lived experience is essential to building a fair, effective, and community-responsive program. We're having 3 sessions. We're having 2 on the 17th. One's at 1:00 p.m. at the Norwalk Library Auditorium up in Wall Street and 1 Belden Avenue. The second one on the 17th is at 6:00 at Marvin Elementary School in their great room, and that's at 15 Calf Pasture Beach. The third one is on the 18th at 6:00 at the Sono Elementary School. I have an asterisk there because I'm waiting on the principal to sign off on that. But in the event that doesn't pan out, we will shift it to another location. But I have no reason to believe that we won't be able to reserve that space. I'm just, they got bombarded with snow, and I didn't expect them to get back to me by today, but I do have a follow-up with them tomorrow. So pending that's the 3 sessions that we're going to do. Park Norwalk and LAS Parking encourages all residents to attend, ask questions, and share their perspectives. Their voice will guide the development of the residential parking program from the very beginning. And then once I have everything in Sono Elementary penned in, I will make this this pamphlet. We're going to do a social blitz on getting the word out, and also put if we have to post on the one ads, we'll do that as well. So the public is aware. And it's one of the requirements to do this. And I don't like saying requirements because it's something that we want. We want this feedback, but it is built into the ordinance that passed over the summer to have these community sessions.
So Brian, you're just informing us.
Correct. It's just an update on what's happening.
There's no action here.
No.
Okay.
Informing the board and also the public of these listening sessions so we can get engagement and buy-in, because it's the resident city that this is going to shape a substantial piece of it to see how we can help manage the parking for the residents here.
Right. Excellent.
I'm sorry, are you moderating, Brian? And are you expecting us to attend?
We would love to have you. It would only help. Laz will be moderating. I will be there, part of the team. And we plan on doing I'm not sure what you call it, but just separate tables, and have a couple staff at each table so we can really get engagement with all the residents instead of having like a kind of like a, what do you call it? I don't know, like a public meeting where it's like a microphone just preaching to everyone. We don't want that. We want to have smaller groups so we can engage with those residents and really get into the details on what is troubling them and what kind of comments they give to us. They can put it on it. We're going to have maps. They can mark on the maps. They can put a little post-it note, and we can put all those comments on record so we can when we're working through the guidelines, we can see what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, and kind of go from there.
Okay.
But yes, if you can join, that would be great.
Could you send out a reminder or calendar invite?
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to get this in. We still have a few weeks, but yeah, I will send out calendar invites to you.
That'd be great. I'll try and make both.
Excellent.
And that's all I got for that.
All right, Brian, thank you.
You're welcome.
Was that our final item?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
perfect. Okay, is there old business we need to discuss?
That's what that was.
Okay,
the
that was
old
it.
business was that.
Yeah,
Apologies.
all right, I
Just
see.
one more really quick, Eric.
Sure.
I was just wanted to ask Brian if the roof of the Yankee Doodle garage, because it's being packed again, have they talked to the police department to move those cars so there's more room in the Yankee Doodle garage for parking?
Not at this time. We've not.
It's important. I think it's important.
Peter, I think you said twice now you've seen the garage completely full, right?
Last Friday, I couldn't find any parking there whatsoever.
So where did you end up parking that night? Because you went to dinner at Alma's, right?
I went to Alma Bistro, and I can't remember his name. I apologize. I asked one of the hard workers for Laz if I could park in front of the post office, which is 30-minute parking, and he says, park in front of the post office, because it was after 6 o'clock. And he says, you'll be fine. And that's where I parked illegally. So, but I had a great dinner, and it was packed. You couldn't find any parking on the streets or in the Yankee Doodle at all. So it's a good sign. Good for business.
It's a very good sign.
I'll bring this up to Jim to see how we can. The impound lot's kind of a sensitive topic because there's ongoing investigation with some of those vehicles, so they can't really get moved. And where can they move? It's secured as it is, but I'll bring that up because indeed Wall Street is increasing in activity.
I just can't think of the name. The street the library is on.
Mott.
Mott.
Mott Avenue.
Mott is usually empty. I don't know if there's some way, if the pay stations are able to tell that most of Wall Street is full to direct people over there. I don't know, there must be 25 spots over there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Norwalk my whole life, and there's still out-of-towners that get nervous about getting off the security and around
Off the beaten path.
around downtown Norwalk. So the Yankee Doodle garage is right there, lit up nice, and right in the heart of everything. So it's pretty key. As it shows, it's full. It was full. So
Yeah.
Okay, so then thanks everybody for your time. We've covered a lot of ground tonight. If there's no further discussion, then we'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Matt. Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Again, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Have a
Brian
good
and
night.
Sarah Rock too, for all your work on this stuff.